This video is how to make a coil bowl, and you're going to start with your worksheet, which is your design. It's going to be a radial design, your bowl, your bag, your clay, your fork, your pen, and you're going to also need your slip. So I'm going to put all these things aside, and in class we talked about radial design, and so everybody is starting with a coil at the bottom in the center. So everybody's drawn that, and then from there you're going to draw a radial design. So you see that I'm drawing mine. I'm using arches, and I'll use some folds. You can use braids or twists. You can make your own simple coil designs. In here I make a leaf. You could also make some just lines that go around, kind of like curved or straight lines, but you can kind of be creative and know that this is just a sketch, so it might morph or change before you get to your final bowl. So now you're going to prep your bowl, and you're going to put your hand in your bag. It's a little bit difficult to open. And then put your bowl in your bag so that just one layer of plastic is covering the bowl. And then you're going to start rolling coils. So to start rolling coils, you're going to take a chunk and first just kind of generally make a coil shape, and then you're going to roll with your fingers. And as you roll, you want to separate your fingers and go from like the inside out. You don't want to put very much pressure on at all, just like the weight of your hand, so you're not pushing down. It is easier for you to roll them on the desktop, and if they get really flat like this, you can just twist them, pick them up and twist them, and then continue to roll them. So it should be easily rolled, and you want to kind of roll left like this, and then go back over to the right. I'm just using the pressure of my hand, and you can kind of pick them up so they don't stick to the table. You also want them the diameter of a pencil, so really not too thick and not too thin. So take your time when you're rolling your coils. This is actually me rolling at double speed, so it really does take quite a long time to make your coils really nice. When you've made your coil the perfect size, you're going to spray it with just the slightest bit of water. Okay, so I'm going to put it on some of my extra bag there and just do a really light spray and then cover it up so it stays nice and wet until I'm ready to use it. Because I'm going to make 2 or 3 coils just to get ready so I can make my bowl. If you have to keep rolling coils, it slows down your work. So I'm just going to roll out a couple of coils, keep them wet in the plastic bag. Not too much water though, otherwise they'll be so wet. So here I go, fast forward. And you can see I'm comparing it to the diameter or circumference of the pencil, and I needed to roll it out a little bit more. And you'll see throughout the video, even though I got it at the size of a pencil here, later I kind of roll it 1 or 2 more times. So really try to get it as close to the diameter of a pencil as possible. Again, I can just wrap them up loosely and spray them very lightly and cover them up. So now I'm ready to place my coils in the bowl. And the first thing everyone is going to do is going to use a spiral at the bottom. So you're going to roll a nice spiral and put it right at the bottom of your bowl. Here's how I roll a spiral. Also, you want to look and see which is the most beautiful side. That side is going to go facing down because that's the side that's going to be seen. The inside of the bowl eventually we will smooth out. So make sure your most pretty side goes down, face down. I was just looking at my design to see what I need to do next. And the next thing I'm making is some arches. And I like to make arches kind of 2 for 1. So I'm rolling a small ball and pressing it flat like a pancake, and then putting a coil around it and then cutting it half, and then I get two arches at one time, and it kind of speeds up my work and it makes them a little bit more uniform. So here I am going to use a fettling knife and cut my coils in half, and now it's that nice arch. I'm going to place them around my center spiral. So in my original design, I had 8 arches around, and I realized that it didn't really fit with 8, so I just modified it to fit for 6. I was checking my paper, and the next design I had was a little bit bigger, thicker arch, so I'm just making more of those and putting them around as well. So if you see any of the bowl underneath where there isn't any clay, you can take a little ball and flatten it and make a little band-aid or a plug to plug in the hole. So this will add a lot of strength to your bowl and some clay for when we smooth it out. So here I am just adding them, and as I'm pushing them down, I'm being really careful not to break the styrofoam bowl. So I'm just pushing in as much little clay as I need, and I'll continually do this throughout the process until I get all the little holes plugged up. I'm getting some more of my coils that I previously rolled. They are a little wet, so I'm just rolling them out a little bit to get the moisture all mixed in, and I'm going to do my next coil, which I have just going up and down all around. And this is a really great coil to do because it again strengthens your bowl. So it's a coil going all around the edge of the bowl so far, and I'm doing it right kind of as it goes up the walls. So I do 2 of those, and I think that those going around really adds strength to the bowl. So here I'm trying to make a leaf, and I make the leaf just like I drew out, but then I realize I don't really like the end result, and it is really big. So watch me as I put it on the bowl, and you'll notice that it comes over the edge of the rim or the lip, and we don't want anything to go over the edge of the styrofoam bowl. So I decided I'm just going to do those ribbons instead, or those folds, and just put those all around the edge. Again, you can see that I put little pieces of clay, little balls of clay in between where the ribbons don't quite touch, just to patch up and fill in. So if the bell's about to ring and you're not done, you want to spray it very, very lightly. I can't emphasize how lightly you want to spray it, because otherwise, if you do too much water, it'll just melt, just like our slip. And you're just going to cover the bag over the bowl and make sure no air gets in. This is actually the next day, so I uncovered it, and it's still actually quite wet. And it's ready for the next step. And the next step is for you to take a fork. These are common shared forks. They're not one per person. And you're going to score the entire inside. So the fork makes it a lot easier. And you really want to make sure that you score everything very gently. You don't want to disturb the coil design on the outside. If you see any little areas where you need to add some clay, you'll see me adding little bits of clay here, and that's just fine so long as you're scoring. But you want to score the entire thing, and then you're going to smooth it out. Once you're done with the fork, then you're going to use your carving tool or the popsicle stick, and you're just going to very gently blend. You don't want to disturb the coil design underneath, because we're going to want to see that. So we're just very gently smoothing the clay. Take your time with this. This is obviously on fast forward. So you're going to use the popsicle stick first, and then you're going to go a second time around with your finger. And you can also fill in again any areas that you need to. You'll see me, when I fill in at this point, I'm actually going to score the area again and make a really flat pancake. So I'll show you that in just a minute. So right here, I'm scoring, and it was so fast. Here, I'll do it again. So I'm scoring the area. I'm scoring the little flat pancake, like paper thin pancake. I'm adding some slip. to both sides, and then I'm going to blend it in with my fingers and be really gentle on the pressure. So make sure that little pancake at this point is super thin and you score it so that it really blends in. You don't want to see the seam at all. I'm also adding little bits to the edge to fill in, and the clay is really soft up here, so I really don't need to score it that much, but I definitely need to blend it in. The next thing you want to do, kind of one of the final steps, is you want to add a coil around the outside. So the outside lip isn't uneven, so it's nice and rounded. So I'm just rolling out another coil and you'll see me attach it. The coil ends up not being perfectly sized, so I just put another coil on there too. But you want to blend this very well, and so watch me do that. Again, I'm adding little bits to fill in, little pancakes to fill in any divots that I need to, slipping and scoring the really thin pancake and blending it out. You really want the inside of your bowl to be completely smooth because then you can use it for food. So if the inside of a bowl isn't smooth, it'll be harder to clean and bacteria can collect in there and then you can get sick. So that's why the inside needs to be so smooth, and that's why I am really paying lots of attention. It's okay if it's a little like raised in some areas, but there shouldn't be any holes or anywhere where there's any wrinkles or any large divots where like bacteria could grow inside. I'm just smoothing out the rim, and then I'll leave this out for an hour to dry and harden up before I take it out of the bowl. So the next day I come back and my bowl is dry and I'm ready to take it out of the bag. So I'm making sure that it is leather hard, okay, and that means that it can hold its form, and so I don't need the support of the styrofoam bowl. You don't want to let it dry fully in the styrofoam bowl. When students do that, usually it cracks and breaks. So I'm going to just reach my hand inside the bag and take the bowl out to reveal my radial design. If you see any little wrinkles on the outside from the bag, that's fine. Don't worry about them. All the coils, you don't want to blend or mess with them at all. The only thing you might want to do is like around the rim, make sure it's blended enough so that it stays together and doesn't fall apart. And I'm just going to let this dry fully. Before it dries, I'm going to write my initials, and you guys can write your period number at the bottom, being really gentle so I don't collapse the bowl. And then once it is completely dried, we will fire it. And then I'll talk about glazing in the classroom. So I hope you enjoy this project. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.